The Book of Wondrous Possibilities, written by Deborah Abella. Chapter 2. The Book of Wondrous Possibilities. Arlo stared at the parcel. He didn't move. He almost forgot to breathe. The girl, however, seemed relieved. "Do you have any banana cake?" "Huh?" That was all Arlo could manage. His mind was still dealing with the parcel from his mother. And the murderer. A lot had happened in only a few minutes. Banana cake, you know, cake made with mushed bananas and walnuts slathered in cream cheese icing and sprinkled with cinnamon. If it's made properly, which sadly it often isn't. Arlo wondered why she seemed more annoyed about badly made banana cake than being chased by a murderer. "We don't have any," he said, "but my uncle makes very nice scones." "No offense," she said with a sniff, "but there's no such thing as very nice scones. They're always dry and you have to drown them in jam and cream to make them edible." "I'm sorry." Again, to be fair, Arlo was having a hard time focusing on scones. "It's okay. Scones will do." In the flat above the shop, Arlo found his uncle where he usually found him, reclining in his chair, tucked beneath his favorite blanket and reading by the glow of a lamp. His tortoise-shell glasses balanced on the edge of his nose, and he wore the same far-away look he always did when he read. And there were books everywhere, spilling from shelves onto chairs and teetering in piles on the floor. They surrounded the man like he was shipwrecked in a sea of books. "Uncle Avery?" The man jumped, clutching his chest. "Arlo, you startled me. Is it dinner time already? Sorry, I got carried away with the story about—" The girl peeked out from behind Arlo. Uncle Avery put down his book and dragged himself out of the chair. He brushed crumbs from his moth-eaten jumper and tried to pat down his gray tornado-styled hair. "We have guests." "This is—" Arlo began, until he realized he had no idea who she was. The girl took off her beanie. "Excuse me, sir, for barging in, but my name is Lisette, and I met Arlo in your magnificent shop, and can I say this is the best home in the whole world?" "If you can forgive the leaks and the flickering lights," Avery said. "Cockroaches have chewed the wires again." He looked around, mumbling to himself, "I must fix that." "But look at all these books," Lisette marveled. "Who wouldn't want to live here?" There was a long silence where no one seemed sure what to say, until Arlo remembered. "We thought there might be scones." "Of course, where are my manners?" Uncle Avery made a pot of tea while Arlo laid out the scones. Lisette dug in, holding up a wobbling tower of jam and cream. She took a huge bite, chewing quickly before gobbling another, which made Arlo think she hadn't eaten in days. "We don't get many visitors," Uncle Avery said. "Were you after a book?" She wiped her mouth on her sleeve and swallowed. "I delivered a parcel to Arlo." "It's from Mum," Arlo blurted, then frowned, as if he'd said a stupid thing. He took the parcel from inside his coat and laid it out on the table. "I see." Uncle Avery stared at the handwriting and seemed as lost as Arlo. No one moved. "Do you think I should open it?" Arlo asked. "It's up to you," his uncle said. Lisette dolloped cream on another scone. "If you want my opinion, when someone sends you a parcel they usually want you to open it." Arlo didn't move. "That's how the whole parcel thing works," Lisette added. "Wouldn't you like to see inside?" Uncle Avery asked. Arlo wasn't sure. Part of him wanted to. It was from his mother after all. But how? She'd been gone for almost a year, because of the accident. But the handwriting was definitely hers. He'd know it anywhere. Herbert climbed out of Arlo's pocket and onto his sleeve, staring at him with his big brown eyes. "You think I should?" The mouse nodded. Arlo sighed. He was outnumbered. He untied the string and carefully unwrapped the brown paper. Inside was a book. It was old and tattered with strands of frayed cotton at the edges. Arlo sniffed. It smelled of campfires and nights in the wild. He was annoyed with himself. "What do I know about campfires or nights in the wild?" he thought. To Arlo the book didn't seem any more remarkable than old newspaper, but the look on his uncle's face told him otherwise. "Uncle Avery, are you okay? Can you read the title for me?" Arlo leaned over the faded red cover. The letters were worn out, speckled with traces of gold. He began to spell. P-O-S-S-I-B-R-E-D-E-S. He squinted. P-O-S-S. Possibilities merveilleuses, Uncle Avery said. So it's true. His eyes widened as if he'd seen a wonderful or maybe shocking thing. Arlo couldn't tell. All he knew was that this was no ordinary book. "Where did you get it?" Uncle Avery asked Lisette. She bristled. "I found it." "Found it where?" "I didn't steal it." There was panic in her voice, and jam on her cheek. Uncle Avery's smile was as warm as a hug. "I didn't think for a minute you had." Arlo's eyes flicked between this curious girl and his uncle's startled face. "What is it?" "This is, my boy, is. Uncle Avery stood and stepped between the piles of books. He lifted some from a step-ladder, before climbing up and running his fingers along the spines. "There you are," he said. Uncle Avery pulled a book from the shelf, stepped off the ladder and placed it with a dusty thump on the table. Herbert sneezed. "Bless you," Lisette said. "This is a ledger of rare books." Avery turned to the contents and read out loud. "Gutenberg Bible, Da Vinci's Codex Leicester, Ptolemy's Cosmographia. Here it is." He flicked over the pages until he saw an image of a book that looked exactly like the one from the parcel. "Le Livre des Possibilités Merveilleuses," Uncle Avery says, "also known as the Book of Wondrous Possibilities. Only a few were ever made. Some believed they existed, but for others there wasn't enough proof. And now here it is." "So it's very old," Arlo said, still trying to understand why the book was so special. "It's more than old," Uncle Avery explained. "It's a grimoire." "What's a grimoire?" "A book from 18th century France, and said to have special properties." "Like what?" Avery read further. "It says here some grimoires are believed to be magic, while others have instructions on how to make magical objects." "It's a book of magic?" Lisette asked, her eyes gleaming. "Some think so." "But magic isn't real," Arlo said. "Perhaps." His uncle shrugged. "How does it work?" Arlo asked. "It doesn't say. Why don't you look inside?" Arlo's heart skipped, like he'd almost fallen. Herbert patted his cheek with his tiny paw. It helped. Arlo slowly opened the grimoire. The air stirred with the musty smell of old paper. There was a list of titles. The first were in French, which he couldn't understand, but then he read, "The Adventures of Elk, Solveig's Battle, Irene's Quest." He jolted back as if pushed. "Arlo?" Uncle Avery leaned towards his nephew. Arlo tugged at his collar, feeling as if he might choke. "The next one says, 'The Courageous Journey of Arlo Goodman.'" He looked up. "By Abigail Goodman." "But how? Your mother wrote you a story." Lisette twisted her fingers as if she was to blame for something, or had said too much. "It's really good." Arlo stared at her. He felt as if he was suddenly in a book, one that wasn't making any sense. "She worked on it with my grandmother," she said. "It was a present for your birthday." Arlo's mum had read to him every night, or even better, made up a story with him in it. It was one of the things he missed the most. He'd give anything to have one more story with her. And now, here it was. So why did he feel so scared? What makes it magic? He felt foolish asking. "I'm not sure," Lisette said. "Uncle Avery? I don't know either, but I have a friend who will." That's the end of chapter 2 for the Book of Wondrous Possibilities. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share if this helped you. Go listen to chapter 3 on my channel, and have a great day or night. Bye!